the least amount of nodes that you put, the smoother the curve. And it's much easier to do. And I like it much better. This is what I want. My drawing wasn't smooth, but I can make my embroidery smooth, and this looks much better. So I cut down the points quite a bit, and it looks way better. Okay, so we have our start and we have our end. It doesn't really matter where it ends, but we're just doing it all out. So it ends there. We'll just keep that in mind. So now let's zoom out. Frank is starting to look pretty good. He's kind of got a little problem with his antenna, but that's okay. We can fix it. So we've done the head. Now we're going to do the back. We're going to do his whole kind of teardrop back. Now I'm not going to worry about the designs down here because I might change it. But for now, oh, I wanted to see if that would work in Sun. It's a bit splitty. It's a bit slitty. We could try to do maybe the embossed. It's a bit small for it, but you know what? You never know. We could give him kind of, I was thinking we could kind of give him like an eyeball appearance. Now you can adjust everything, of course. See, I kind of like that. I kind of like that little bit of texture. How about squiggle too? Even better, I'm going to leave it on squiggle too because that just makes it look like he has a crinkly head. You just have to make sure your space isn't too small because it doesn't work out. So, okay, let's do digitize closed shape, and I am going to make the body tatami because I know it's too big for satin stitches and we don't want them split and we don't want them pulled or anything like that. So tatami, and Frank is kind of a weird bug, so we're going to make him weird colors. I ended up there. Again, you don't have to do it this way. But instead of, let's zoom in a little bit so we can see, instead of, I want to show you guys about the putting the nodes in because this is also a part of optimization. The least amount of times that you click to place nodes, the better. And this is why we zoom in to 6:1 because you're going to know if you're placing nodes like this at 6:1, they are way too close and you don't need to put that many nodes and you're spending a lot of time clicking when you don't have to. Now, to make a smooth one, you try it, and if it doesn't work, you just move it back 1, 2, and 3. And that looks pretty smooth to me, doesn't it? I like it. So let's just pick some points, and I'm right-clicking because we're going around curves. It's a little bit more difficult for me because I am used to that 6:1. But I'm going to zoom out so you can see right-click, right-click, right-click. We're going to have to left-click here to get a cusp, a point. Right-click. And even though Frank's kind of wobbly, we're going to make Frank a lot smoother than he's ever been in his whole life. And we're going to end up there and hit enter. And look how smooth we did that. And we did probably half the amount of clicks that you would normally do. Now, if you want to tweak this and get it reshaped, maybe we want the angle to go straight across, or try it. I always try to, move the angles. You might like it better. See, I kind of like that. If you need to tweak stuff, I just clicked on my reshape. You can move your nodes around. And because you didn't put a whole bunch of nodes, look what happens when I move this. The whole thing changes. If you had 5 nodes here, you'd have to go through each node and change it. So the least amount of nodes possible. So let's click one. I just clicked on it and I just want to move it. It's hard to see the nodes here. Do I want to move more? Yeah, my end point is there. Boop, boopity, just a little bit. Do I like that? I think I do. Now we've made Frank nice and smooth, and I think he looks fantastic, thank you. Again with the colors, not really sure about the colors, but hey, what are you going to do? It's Frank the Bug. He can pretty much do whatever he wants, I guess. We should make his antenna match, but he's a tropical kind of bug. How's that? There we go. I just want to see bright colors today. It makes me happy. So now, wow, do we ever have Frank going on? We really do. We have color changes in here. We might optimize it even further. Now what we have to watch, look what I've done here. Look what I've done. I did something that would stress anybody out. is that I didn't match the colors. So this one would be a color change. You're not optimizing anything. So let's turn it back to one color because that's how we designed it. We can make it green if we want. But see what I did there? See, you have to watch when you have all these connections. You've got to remake the connections again so they work. There we go. Now we're optimized. We're connected. Frank is much happier. So thank you, Frank. Whew, that was a close one. That would have been a lot of color changes in there. And I don't think that's optimizing if you do that. You can change it however you want if you want to do different ones. But for our purpose today and optimizing, one color goes up, does the circle. I might make it a little bit bigger. Maybe that's the point that's bothering me. Make the circle a little bit bigger and make this one a little bit bigger. And this is how it's going to roll. It's going to stitch up here, and then it's going to stitch this and come back. And actually, I was just thinking as I was saying it, we optimized a run from this to this, didn't we? So yeah, it's going to stay blue. So we're going to change it all. There we go. Whew, that's 2 mistakes I almost made. Wow, okay, so there's no point in optimizing it if you're going to change the colors because you don't need to do a connection in between. All right, stop changing stuff, Sue. Let's get on with it. Okay, liking it. Liking Frank. He's looking pretty good. I like him. He needs a little bit of detail work, so let's get at that. I'm going to take off the true view so I can see what I'm doing. And what color are we going to put on here? Let's digitize a closed shape, and let's pick something as back as blue. We could do him a dark green. How's that? And I want to start here, and again with the points, keep it optimized. 1, 2, 3, 1. Kind of, I don't know if I want it straight. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Hit enter. Looking good. Looking good. It's kind of hard to see. If you can't see it, a lot of people complain that it's hard to see because it's on video. We can hide selected, and then now we can see our too dark green, so we'll make it lighter. Now we can see what we've done, and I kind of like that. So we're going to put an outline around Frank's body. So if you were to start this part, you're going to have a jump stitch. So let's make our connection, and let's do it in order so we don't have to go back. So digitize open shape. We want it on a single run. We want that medium green, and we're going to go here to here. Just a quick little walk, and if we look in our resequence, it is in fact in the right order. Let's do our closed shape, and we're going to start it from here, and I'm going to take it a little bit further because Frank is all about being artistic. And just under here, and hit enter, and pick the right one. We want it filled. There we go. And we want it in the green. When you click off, you can see the green. Hey, Frank, looking good, man. Looking good. Let's do our digitize open shape, single run. And actually, we don't have to. That is close enough that a little tiny jump stitch isn't going to change anything. So we're going to start here. 1, 2, maybe 3, 4. And then we'll go back, and you don't have to match them. 1, 2, 3, and then up here, and we're going to hit enter. And of course I did it again. I drive myself crazy, but that's okay. Get into the rhythm. And that's looking pretty good. I kind of like that. Let's bring his back into view. And there's shortcuts. There's keyboard shortcuts for it, but I'm just old school. And we have the green stitching on top. Let's go back into the true view. Hey, looking good. I think I want to see that in satin. And that is exactly what I want. See what the big difference is. And he's kind of, original. This maybe doesn't need to be straight, and you could maybe tweak this one out. It may be a bit thick. I don't know. I kind of like my off-sided sketch for it, but if you wanted it symmetrical, you could just copy this over and put it in the right order. Let's do that and see how it looks. So select it, and then we're going to right-click, slide it over, and then what we want to do is mirror right here. And that probably looks a little bit better. Put it in the right spot. So that's kind of cool. Thanks, Frank. You're looking better now. Kind of a little bit better design. And to keep it optimized, we got to make sure that we move it. And we move it to the first spot. Let's look. Yep. And I think we don't need this connection because I changed it. We don't need the connection. It is close enough. And now what we can do actually is move it around. So sometimes, you know, you have to optimize on the fly and you have to figure out how it's going to work best. And I think that works best. And I like it. I absolutely like it. Now, if you needed some practice, that because I want an outline on him. Actually, what we're going to do, I have this locked. Let's unlock it. And it's Shift K is the shortcut. And we are going to move this out of the way so we can see Frank better. And let's go click to colors. So you can optimize your designs, but you can also optimize your workflow. And this is what I'm doing. Instead of going here and select all the blue ones, I flip to colors and I select all of that blue all in one. And it's a great habit to get into. It's a time saver. And we're going to make that all black. And I kind of like that better. Not too fond of the purple, so why don't we make it a different green? Yeah, he's kind of a groovy bug. Not 100% on the antenna. Let's try one with like a triple run. See, I almost think that's too thin. Almost. Yeah, I don't know. Satin? Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's going to be satin. I think I like that best. And we don't have to worry because we've optimized it for it. So that's great. I may want to move the antenna over a little bit, and that's all I'm going to do. I like it. Now, we want an outline for Frank's body. This is the last thing, and I think I'm going to do it in black. I would like you to start here and manually digitize it. And it's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Or you can select his body. Check on your resequence here to make sure you've selected his body. And we're going to close this toolbox. And we are going to go to layout. And we are, it's actually edit. I always go to layout because it's my favorite place to do. So let's go to edit. Let's do it right this time. And we're going to create outlines and offsets. And we want an outline, not an offset. And I want it in, you know, maybe a back stitch, maybe a stem stitch. But I'd like it to be thicker. So let's do satin. And go. And there we go. And that satin is a little bit thick. It kind of stands out too much. 0.06 is fine. And I kind of like that. Kind of like that. And what do we want to do? Do we want his head outlined? Let's just try it and see what we think. Now, you can manually do it if you want. And we actually should step back a little bit here. I put that in the wrong spot. So again, part of the optimization. Want to know how I noticed that? Because I was selected on the back and then I did an outline and Hatch will place it next. And what I noticed is right here, what do you see? We didn't cover up those raw edges and I wanted them covered up. So again, part of the optimization is that we want to put everything in the right order. We're not all that worried about, you know, color changes or anything because you can't connect that black with this black. There's too many layers in between and layers are very important. We can, however, connect this. And I don't think I want it as thick. So let's just try something again. Manually digitize it. It would be 1, 2, 3. In fact, why don't we do that for this one? Because we kind of took a shortcut on the other one, which is fine. But let's do it on this one. Let's go to digitize and digitize open shape because we don't need it to cover. And what we need to do is we're going to pick black and triple run, back stitch. It may even be a sculpture run. We want to start in here because we're going to optimize it. And boom. and boom, and remember, optimize your stitch points, and there, and hit enter. See, now I like that. I really like that. Now we want that to stitch out first, and we want this and this. I do have mine set for closest join, but I do want to double check it because I want this one to end and then this one start. So I do want it to be on closest join. So I select the two, and I just want to make sure I don't want to sit and do the player the whole time while we're working together on this. But that's how I would do it myself. Or I would just take a quick flick into reshape. So there's like 3 ways of doing it. So apply closest join, and it was right, and I was pretty sure. So look at our cute bug. Look at Frank. Frank is looking good. And because it was just a doodle, that we played around with a few different ways. Now, let's save it. Always remember to save your EMB file. So save design. There we go. And we're going to put it on the desktop, and we're going to call him Frank 1 because he's cool. So now I've saved my EMB file, and actually, you know, for optimizing your work, save it first. Save it when you bring in the picture, save it, and it'll automatically back up. I forgot to do it. Bad habit of mine. But you should do it. Let's go to our player and let's watch Frank go. Go, Frank, go. We'll move Frank a little bit faster. Look at him go. Shall we zoom in so we can really watch him? Look at how nice that is. Satin. And there we go. Satin. Something's wrong there. Did you see that? Something's wrong there. Let's stop. Woo. And this is why we do it. So something is out of place. Now, I changed a whole bunch of things around. I did have it set up correctly, but I changed some things around, and that's why. So I'm thinking it's this here, and let's do apply closest join, because we want it up, do this, and then we want the satin stitches. So up, do the top, and then satin stitches, and then across to the other side. So you always have to run your stitch simulator just to see what's going on. So let's do that again. And it's because I changed things as I went, and it's part of the optimization. No, it's doing it again. So we need to fix that, and it's because I changed it to satin stitches. We don't necessarily have. So let's change it to work out correctly. So this is where the optimizing. You thought you were done because he looks great. Frank does look great. Thank you, Frank, for looking great. But we have a little bit of problem solving to do because this part is correct and this part isn't. And I don't bother keep watching the stitch simulator. I stop and I fix my problem. So let's go to reshape. Start here, end here. We're good to go on that one. And then here, and that's going to start. It's the satin stitches that you are causing me issue. Start and end. It really shouldn't be causing any issue because it stitches up. Oh, I know what it's doing. Okay, I know what it's doing. That's the underlay. See, wow, totally wrong there. So our running stitch stitches up. It does the ball. And then because it's small, I forgot I was working in small, it's just going to do a center run underlay and then go back up and then do it, and it ends here. So it's right. It just didn't look right, but it's right. And it's worth checking. I was forgetting about the underlay. Let's double check that. Stitching, underlay 1, center run. That's all it's doing because I have such hatch set up to do that. So phew, we did do it right. Okay, so let's watch the guy stitch out. Half the fun, half the fun. And I'm really particular about optimizing my design. So this is awesome. And it goes down, and and it goes back up. We don't see it going back up, but it does. Across there. There we go. And then goes right to the head and stitches the head. We can speed it up a little bit because there's a lot of tatami coming up. And I like our little bit of stitches on that. Nice underlay on Frank's body. And off we go. And we're almost done. Frank, you're awesome. There it goes there. And I don't want to cut holes on that because I want the satin stitch to stand out. And look how beautifully that connected. So there you have it, people. Frank the Bug. Fully optimized. Let's look. We have a few color changes. Now you can't move that to optimize it further because they are on different levels. If you remember Frank 2's drawing here that I do have locked probably. They are, this black is far away. This is 4 and this is 1. So there's no way of connecting them. You have to accept the color change because part of the optimization is doing the color changes, and we have it down to no jump stitches. I don't believe there's any. There will be that one that goes back to center. There's no jump stitches on my Frank, which is awesome. No jump stitches. We've done the minimal, the absolute minimal color changes. And also we have set it so it's in logical order. So he's kind of stitched it around here and then goes right to here and then to the body, and the body ends in this part so your machine isn't moving all around. And I think Frank is a superstar, and I'm really happy. He will stitch out beautifully, and you guys can feel free because it's just you know, an artistic, just a drawing. It's nothing, you know, it's crooked, it's too fat here. We fixed it all in embroidery. So you guys can feel free to add your own flair to it as long as everything is optimized and you made great connections. You should be able to do your bug with no jump stitches and minimal machine movement and minimal color changes. I am going to go stitch this guy out because I'm going to add on to the video and I'm going to post it in the group of him stitching, and you guys can do the same thing. So thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for joining me on this optimization and connections adventure. The next one is going to be a little more complicated. We're going to move a little bit faster and we're going to make more connections. So I'll see you guys in the next video.